This channel is sponsored by Pro Football Focus. NFL, college, and fantasy data for every player, every play, every game. Visit ProFootballFocus.com to learn more.
Welcome back to the Prospect Spotlight series for the New Orleans Saints franchise. This is Season 1 Prospect Spotlight number 10, I believe. We are focusing in on running backs. Just a heads up that I'm going to be doing running backs today, safeties tomorrow, wide receivers on Monday to wrap them up, and I'm going to be doing a mock draft next week. We start things off with Cedric Spikes, the number one running back in this class, and he is actually my fourth best overall prospect. He is 6'1" out of Louisville, 217, 22 years old, and my goodness, he is a special talent. He ran for 2,000 yards this season for Louisville, and not only that, he also had about 150 yards passing because of plays like that halfback pass. Just they have to sell out so much for him in the run game that it opened up lanes downfield. He's an excellent player, both as a receiver and a runner. He utilizes his speed, his vision, and basically he doesn't fumble the ball either. This guy is an easy top 5 pick, and he profiles similarly to Ezekiel Elliott, but faster. Profiles a little bit more to what David Johnson has been in the NFL. Next up is Desi Cummings out of Florida. Projected second-round pick. He's my number 2 running back on the board out of Florida, 5'10", 196 at 24 years old. Another guy who utilizes his speed. The difference between Desi and someone like Cedric Spikes is his elusiveness. He is so slippery, even though he's only 2 inches shorter and just shy of 200 pounds. He's very hard to bring down. He's also very good at holding onto the football. He's not as good with the spins and the jukes and all of that, but in terms of weaving through defenders, he breaks a lot of arm tackles, especially for someone his size. He's a special player, but the only downside is that he's 24 years old. So not exactly a spring chicken at running back. Next up, we have Rakeem Blackman, one of 2 running backs from Ohio State. He is a projected second-round pick, 5'10", 217. He's a guy who really is patient behind the line of scrimmage, and then he just turns it upfield with a cut, and he'll just absolutely dominate teams. His teammate Jarvis Cochran is more of the power back, and they were a dynamic duo at Ohio State. But Rakeem Blackman, 5'10", 217 at 23 years old. Another guy, doesn't fumble very much. A lot of these running backs at the top of the class do not fumble, which makes things really easy for teams to consider drafting them higher because they're not going to turn the ball over. But Blackman's a guy who is really good. He has one of the most devastating jukes in college football, and he runs over people too. He's hard to bring down. Next up, we have Josh Gaither, a projected 7th round pick, but he's my 6th best running back prospect out of Tulane. 6'2", 232. He is a power back, and this man is an absolute tank. Whether it be stiff arms, whether it be trucking somebody, this man will run over everybody. Don't even consider arm tackling him. He averaged 5 yards after contact this season at Tulane. He is just an absolute monster when he gets into defenders, when he squares them up, bouncing off of people, diving around, just making plays. Josh Gaither is a scary player as a power back. If he has the speed to match it, he might be one of the best running backs in the NFL soon. But the speed and the fact that he played at Tulane, didn't face too many big-name schools, is a little bit of a concern for the future for Gaither. Hopefully, though, he's able to maintain that production moving forward. As you can see, he absolutely ran all over Tulsa in a snowy-filled game. Just, absolutely devastating, lowering that shoulder. Up next, we have Thomas Pegues, a projected 3rd round pick and my number 7 running back prospect out of Michigan. Pegues has breakaway speed, 6'2", 205. But the thing about Pegues that is so good and refreshing, he's 21 years old. He is among the youngest running backs in this class, among the youngest players in this class in general. He has room to grow. but he's elusive. He has pretty good vision, especially for his age, and he can make men miss in the open field. That breakaway speed is a huge factor for the future for him, and he helped lead Michigan to a bowl victory with just so many remarkable moves, cuts, and he's also a factor in the passing game. Not so much, but with his speed, if you can get the ball to him in the open field, he's going to make plays, guaranteed. Next up, we have the last running back, Kendrick Belton out of USF, a projected 7th round pick, my 11th best running back prospect, 5'11", 229, another power back. He's 22 years old, and he's a guy who runs really hard. He's another guy who you kind of question about the speed. He's not as powerful or as dynamic as someone like Gaither or Jarvis Cochran out of Ohio State, but he's a very talented player who can just get into the second level and wreak havoc. If he has a chance to square up a defender or two, he's going to make them miss, and he's going to drag them along with him as he fights for the sticks. Very good instincts, always falls forward. He's someone that you want on your team as a competitive player. And as a 7th round projected pick, he's someone who could absolutely become a good investment in those later rounds. And lastly, we have the only fullback that's projected to be drafted, Jared Fudge out of FSU, a projected 6th round pick, my 12th best running back, halfback, fullback player in this draft class. He also played a big role on special teams, just absolutely flattening people all over the field. Fudge is just a fun player to have with you. As you can see, he's a lead blocker who can make plays, and too bad Adkins isn't draft eligible. Jeremy Adkins, he's a very good player. But either way, Jared Fudge just gets into that second level and runs people over. He also can take the ball and run for himself. He's not a guy who's going to get a ton of yardage and a ton of plays, but he's a good player who absolutely loves to just plow over defenders and just absolutely annihilate their souls. So that's it for the running back prospects in this draft. Let's take a look at the full updated big board. I have not only the big board, I have each individual position, and then I have a breakdown of projected players per round per position as big board number 2. So go check that out in the description below. We will have another prospect spotlight tomorrow, week 16 on Saturday, another prospect spotlight Monday, week 17 on Tuesday, and a mock draft on Wednesday. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll talk to you guys later. Peace!